hello friends, we are discussing a very good topic of pathology and that is ovarian tumor. So here we go, we are learning all the ovarian tumors from the Robbins Pathology, the standard book. So here we go, ovarian tumors. So this is our beautiful uterus and this is our beautiful ovaries. There are two ovaries. So about 80% of all the ovarian tumors are benign and mostly occur between the 20 to 45 years of age, and malignancy occur mostly in the 45 to 65 years of age in the female. Ovarian tumors are overall fifth most common death due to cancer in the woman in the United States. Why they are fifth most common cause of the death? Because because most ovarian cancer have spread beyond the ovary and fallopian tube by the time of diagnosis. At the time of diagnosis, mostly the malignancy occur and they were spread throughout the peritoneum and at different sites. So it is the fifth most common cause of the death due to cancer in the woman in the United States. Then symptoms. What are the symptoms of the ovarian tumor? For abdominal pain, distension, then urinary and GI tract symptoms due to compression by the tumor or cancer invasion and vaginal bleeding. So urinary and gastrointestinal tract symptoms with abdominal pain and distension can be there in ovarian tumor. So the WHO classification. What is the WHO classification for ovarian neoplasm? So mostly they are dividing the ovarian neoplasm into four categories. So what are they? First is surface or epithelial stroma. So you have to just memorize, you have to just see the picture. We will discuss one by one further. So here surface or epithelial stromal tumor. So in that serous, mucinous, endometrial, clear cell, transitional and epithelial stromal tumors are there. Then next is germ cell tumor. In germ cell tumor, teratoma immature, mature, then solid, cystic, monodermal, then dysgerminoma, then yolk sac tumor, then mixed germ cell tumor. And the third one is sex cord stromal tumor. In sex cord stromal tumor, granulosa cell tumor, then fibromas, fibrothecomas, then Sertoli Leydig cell tumors and other. Then metastatic cancer from the non-ovarian primary, like colonic carcinoma can match to the ovary, then gastric carcinoma, pancreatic carcinoma, then breast carcinoma. All other malignancy can be metastasis to the ovary. So these are broadly divided four categories according to WHO. First is surface epithelial stroma, second is germ cell tumor, third is sex cord stromal, and fourth one is metastatic cancer. So we will discuss one by one. So the first is epithelial tumor. So we all know that the ovaries arise from the Mullerian epithelium. So Mullerian epithelium, there are mainly two type 1 and type 2 type of epithelial tumor. The type 1 tumor that is low grade serous, endometrioid and mucinous. Mucinous, endometrioid and low grade serous. These carcinoma are mostly type 1. They are arising from the cystoadenoma or endometriosis. Then they will convert it into the borderline tumor and then they occur. And in type 2 is high grade serous. High grade serous carcinoma is type 2 kind of tumor. It will originate from the fallopian tube, inclusion cyst will be there, then STIC will be there, and then high grade serous carcinoma will be there. So these are broadly divided into two categories, type 1 and type 2. Next we will discuss firstly, why so serious? Let's put a smile on this and we will discuss, by serious we will discuss the serous carcinoma. So the serous tumors, so serous tumors, you can see here the gross picture of the ovary. You will see here yellowish projection at the wall of the cyst. So here what we are seeing, cyst cavity, we are seeing cyst cavity lined by delicate papillary tumor growth. Here delicate papillary tumor growth is seen. Then next here what is the tumor? The yellowish large giant part is the tumor. So cyst is open to reveal the large bulky mass, tumor mass. This is the gross picture of the tumor, serous tumors. So serous tumor is the most common malignant ovarian tumor. Then risk factor for the serous tumors are nulliparity, family history, heritable mutation like BRCA1, 2. In serous tumors, there are two type of high grade and low grade. In low grade, mutations are mostly KRAS, BRAF, ERBB2 and wild type of P53. This kind of mutation will be seen in the low grade type of serous tumor. Then high grade type of serous tumor will be seen in T53 mutation. Then these all are the risk factor, nulliparity, family history, then heritable mutation, and this gene mutation. And what will reduce the chances of the serous tumor? That is protection factors are like one is oral contraceptive pills and another is undergone the tubal ligation. This will reduce the risk of the serous tumors. Then again, serous tumors, you are seeing the histological picture of the serous tumor. Here what we are seeing, that there is a line, epithelial line. We are seeing an epithelial line, and cells are columnar, mostly to our columnar cells. So serous cyst adenoma, this is a picture of serous cyst adenoma revealing the stromal papilla. You can see the papillary projection. Stromal papilla with a columnar epithelium will be seen. Then in serous tumor there are borderline tumors and carcinoma is also there. So benign is serous cyst adenoma, then borderline and serous cyst adenocarcinoma. So here what we are seeing in this picture, firstly you can see that the lining of the epithelium is only single. We are seeing the only one layer, the epithelium. Then in this picture, what is the difference? Difference is complexity. Complexity is seen. You are seeing the complex picture, and the epithelial lining is somewhat bigger than the previous one. So this is the borderline serous tumor showing the increased architecture complexity and the stratification. So here we are seeing the layers of the epithelium. So stratification is there and complexity in the architecture is seen in borderline serous tumor. Then another is, you are seeing here definitely this is a bad looking picture. This is a malignancy. Here we are showing. So that is high grade serous carcinoma of ovary invasion underlying this stroma. You are seeing this blue colored cells. This all are the malignant cells. So they are invading the stroma. So this is high grade serous carcinoma. So the first one is serous cyst adenoma, which is very benign. Then the borderline. In borderline, complexity will be increased, then stratification will be increased, and the carcinoma, the malignant portion, it will the bad looking picture, all the nuclear pleomorphism will be there, mitosis will be there, then loss of polarity will be there, atypical mitosis can be seen, and invasion in the stroma will be seen in the serous adenocarcinoma. So here we complete the serous tumors. Next one, in the epithelial, we are discussing in ovarian neoplasm, we are discussing epithelial type of cancer, epithelial type of neoplasm, and the first one is serous, then the second one is mucinous. So here we are discussing the mucinous tumor. In mucinous tumor, it is rare before puberty and after menopause. Before puberty and after menopause, it is rare. Then mutation in the KRAS proto-oncogene. Mucinous tumor, KRAS proto-oncogene mutation will be there, and mucinous tumors. Here you have to emphasize at here mucinous tumors, why they are different from serous tumors. Mucinous tumors, it also contain the columnar epithelium. Serous tumor, we have seen recently that serous tumor, serous cyst adenoma also containing the columnar epithelium of single columnar epithelium. So what is the difference between two? What is the difference between mucinous tumor and serous tumor? So the difference is surface of the ovary will be rarely involved in the mucinous. At serous, we have seen the gross picture of the serous tumor, that surface of the ovary was involved. Then the next is 5% of the only 5% of the primary mucinous cyst adenoma, where serous cyst adenoma percentage of the occurrence is very high compared to the mucinous. Then mucinous carcinoma will be bilateral, mostly bilateral ovary. The gynecologist will send the both ovaries, because the bilateral ovaries are involved in mucinous tumor. Then the larger cystic mass will be larger, and larger matlab up to 25 kgs can be there, where serous can be small ball like, but mucinous tumors will be high, will be giant tumors. So the specimen of the ovary will be large cystic mass. Then multinucleated tumors filled with sticky gelatinous fluid rich in the glycoproteins. When you are cutting the ovary, when you are cutting the specimen, you will fill the sticky gelatinous material, that is mucinous material. So it is peculiarities of the mucinous tumor. So these 5 points are differentiating point from the mucinous to serous. So first is surface of the ovary rarely involved, 5% of the primary mucinous cystoadenoma only there. Then mucinous carcinoma are bilateral, then larger cystic mass and multinucleated tumor filled with sticky gelatinous fluid rich in the glycoproteins. Then this is the gross picture. You are seeing the gross picture of the mucinous tumor. You are seeing that is large cystic mass, large multiloculated. You can see the multiple septation is in there. So multiloculated mass is there. Then some fluid. If you can zoom out, you can see the sticky fluid is fluid. Some thick fluid is there. You can see. Where serous is some serous fluid, only watery like consistency, and mucinous somewhat sticky fluid will be there. Then this is the histological picture of the mucinous tumor. So you are seeing the here that is also columnar epithelium, but you are seeing that columnar epithelium will secrete some mucinous like material, and that is peculiarity of the mucinous tumor. Then this is mucinous cyst adenoma specimen, columnar cell lining the cyst. So the in mucinous tumor also there are borderline tumors, and mucinous carcinoma will be there also, like serous we have seen. So in borderline tumor distinguished from the cyst adenoma by the epithelial stratification, tufting of the papillary intraglandular growth. Like serous also we have seen the complexity of the glands and stratification of the epithelium in borderline tumors. Then mucinous carcinoma. So mucinous carcinoma, it is a confluent glandular pattern that we can recognize as a invasion. We have to for labeling the mucinous carcinoma, we have to search for the invasion part. Then we can label it as the mucinous carcinoma. Then pseudomyxoma peritoni. It is very, if you are a MBBS UG student, you should know this. If you are a NEET PG aspirant, you should know this, because one MCQ can be asked from this question. Then if you are postgraduate in pathology student, then you must know that what is pseudomyxoma peritoni. So you can see here the gross specimen, gross OT, during OT when they are opening the abdomen, they are seeing the mucinous material throughout the peritoneum. Why? Because in pseudomyxoma peritoneum, mucinous ascites will be there. Then cystic epithelial implants on the peritoneal surface, adhesion will be there, and involvement of the ovaries. Mostly appendix is involved in pseudomyxoma peritoni. Mucinous ascites will be there, cystic epithelial implants on peritoneal surface, adhesion will be there, involvement of the ovaries seen in pseudomyxoma peritoni. Then we have discussed first serous tumor, then mucinous tumor. Now in the epithelial part of the WHO classification, another one is endometrioid ovarian tumor. So the name itself contains that endometrioid ovarian tumors means somewhat related to endometriosis. So here associated with the endometriosis, the tumor is associated with endometriosis and the distinguished presence of the tubular gland resembling the endometrium. Then the next is clear cell carcinoma of ovary. In clear cell carcinoma of ovary, large epithelial cells with abundant clear cytoplasm and on appearance that resemble the hypersecretory. Then transitional cell tumor. This is also one of the most IMP question, most IMP MCQ. This is one of the question for the PG resident in the slide seminar also. So here we are seeing the gross specimen. Right side you are seeing the yellowish specimen of the transitional cell tumor. It is also known as Brenner tumor. Brenner tumor, you have to memorize it, that transitional cell tumor also called as Brenner tumor, and neoplastic epithelial cell resembling the urothelium. The neoplastic epithelial cell resembling the urothelium, then usually benign, also known as Brenner tumor, then sharply demarcated nest of epithelial cell. If you are seeing the histology part, you are seeing the nest. Here one nest, this is the second nest, then this is the third nest, this is the fourth nest. So they are nesting pattern. So this is the peculiarity of the Brenner tumor. If you are having Brenner tumor histological slide, it is very easy to find out, very easy. So the gross specimen, it is showing the yellowish soft glistening surface or glistening cut surface, and on the histology you are seeing the nest of the cell resembling the urothelium. So the tumor will be transitional cell tumor, also known as Brenner tumor. Then we have completed the first part of surface epithelial stroma, serous, mucinous, endometrioid, clear cell, transitional tumor. So we have all covered this. So we are now discussing germ cell tumors. Germ cell tumors, we are discussing the second part, the germ cell tumor. So in germ cell tumor, most commonly, ये तो यूजी लेवल को भी आएगा, ऐसा है कि क्या है, पहले तो germ cell tumor, we are discussing about the germ cell. So nobody is perfect in the world. Even Dettol kills only 99% of the germs. So here we are discussing the from germ cell tumor. So germ cell tumors, here it is the classification of the germ cell tumor. So in germ cell tumor, dysgerminoma and embryonal carcinoma. Dysgerminoma, it is counterpart of the testicular seminoma. It is most IMP question. Dysgerminoma is Viva question also. In Viva में भी पूछा जाता है कि what is dysgerminoma या counterpart of testicular seminoma. So that is dysgerminoma. First is dysgerminoma, then embryonal carcinoma. There it will be divided into two parts. If embryonic structure will be there, so then will be teratoma by mature and immature, and extra embryonic, एम्ब्रियन के सिवाय के पार्ट, एक्स्ट्रा एम्ब्रियोनिक पार्ट स्ट्रक्चर है, तो दैट विल बी डिवाइडेड इनटू यॉर्कशैक ट्यूमर एंड कोरियोकार्सिनोमा. germ cell tumor, dysgerminoma and embryonal carcinoma. In embryonal carcinoma, embryonic structure will be in teratoma and extra embryonic structure will be in yolk-sac tumor and choriocarcinoma. So टेरेटोमा से शुरू करते हैं. तो टेरेटोमा वेरी इजी है, यूजी लेवल के भी स्लाइड में एग्जाम में आता है. टेरेटोमा के इतने स्पेसिमेन आते हैं कि और इजी टू डायग्नोसिस है. मतलब जैसे स्पेसिमेन आया, आपने कट रखा ओवरी पर और अगर टफ है दिख रहे हैं, टूथ दिख रहा है, ये सब कुछ दिख रहा है, तो दैट मस्ट बी द टेरेटोमा. वे टेरेटोमा जब स्पेसिमेन आता है तब हम क्या ढूंढते हैं कि तब हम कहाँ से सेक्शन देते हैं. पहले तो वो वाला पार्ट जिसको बोलते हैं रॉक एंड टच की प्रोट्रूबरेंस. तो रॉक एंड टच की प्रोट्रूबरेंस जो होता है, इट विल कंटेन मोस्टली द टीथ, ऑल द जर्म सेल, एंडोडर्म, मेसोडर्म एंड एक्सोडर्म, ऑल द जर्म सेल के जो डेरिवेटिव्स होते हैं वहां से मोस्टली अगर दे हम सेक्शन, तो उसकी हिस्टोलॉजी में सारे मोस्टली दिखते हैं हमें. तो इन मैच्योर टेरेटोमास वी हैव टू फाइंड all the derivatives of the endoderm, mesoderm and ectoderm. It should be mature, not immature. So why, we will discuss further. So here it is the gross specimen of the teratoma. You are seeing the tuft of hair. Here you are seeing the tuft of hair in the itself in the cavity. So and microscopy you will also see the appendages and hairs also. So often it is also called as dermoid cyst. Why it is called as dermoid cyst? Because most lined by the skin like structure. That's why it is called as dermoid cyst. Here it is the microscopy of the dermoid cyst. So you are seeing the epithelium. You are seeing a very beautiful epithelium of the skin. And another case, you are also seeing the different sebaceous gland. You are seeing the then squamous epithelium. You are seeing then columnar epithelium, then keratin. So mostly skin will be there. Epidermis, dermis, any of the structure of the skin will be there. Then most benign teratoma are cystic. So we will diagnose it as mature cystic dermoid cyst. Mature cystic teratoma we will diagnose it as. Then occasionally associated with the paraneoplastic syndrome like inflammatory limbic encephalitis, unilocular cyst containing the hair, sebaceous material, tooth and areas of the calcification. Then monodermal or specialized teratoma. First we have seen the mature teratoma, then second is monodermal teratoma. So here there is a picture. What you are seeing in this picture? You are seeing any other tissue, any other histological part you are remembering by seeing this? This is colored like material. So this is, you are seeing like in ovary you are seeing the thyroid like part. So it is called as stroma ovary. So in monodermal specialized teratoma, the most common will be stroma ovary and carcinoid. So in stroma ovary, it is composed of entirely mature thyroid tissue, may be functional and cause hyperthyroidism also. Then another is carcinoid syndrome. Carcinoid tumors may arise from the intestinal tissue found in the teratomas, may also be functional, and if large, greater than 7 cm, it will produce 5-hydroxytryptamine, also known as serotonin, to cause the carcinoid syndrome. Carcinoid syndrome में क्या होता है? बहुत सारा फ्लशिंग हो जाता है, देन स्वेटिंग हो जाता है, उसके साथ बहुत सारे सिम्टम्स होते हैं. तो कार्सिनोइड ट्यूमर अगर 7 सेंटीमीटर से बड़ा है तो इट विल कॉज द कार्सिनोइड सिंड्रोम even in the absence of the hepatic metastasis, because the ovarian tumors connect directly to systemic circulation. So these are the monodermal or specialized teratoma. Then immature malignant teratomas. So why we have to look for, whenever we are diagnosing the dermoid cystic teratoma, we have to look for if we are missing any immature part or not. So if we are seeing any neuroepithelium in histology, we have to take care. Why? Because it is malignant. It is a rare tumor, differ from the benign teratomas. That component of the tissue resemble as the embryonal or immature fetal tissue. Then bulky on gross appearance will be can be look like as a mature cystic tumor. It will, on sectioning we will see hair, sebaceous material, cartilage, bone, calcification, anything we can see. But in immature neuroepithelium, but all the structure will be in histology looking as the immature or fetal part, and grading of this tumor will be based on the portion of the immature neuroepithelium will be there in the tissue, in the specimen. So here we are seeing the figure behind me is the immature malignant teratomas. You are seeing the immature neuroepithelium. Then the next, this germinoma, counterpart of seminoma. Yes, so you are seeing the if you have given the slide of the seminoma, you can diagnose. If you are not given the history, male or female, you can diagnose it as seminoma, because both are looking the same in the histological picture. So here we are seeing the cells. You are seeing the cells, clear with clear cytoplasm. Then round nuclei will be there, and adjacent inflammation is also seen. So this germinoma, it is the ovarian counterpart of the testicular seminoma. Markers will be asked in the MCQ. Markers, this germinoma के markers, seminoma के markers कहीं से भी MCQ में पूछते ही है. So the OCT3, OCT4 nano receptor tyrosine kinase KIT, ये है markers dysgerminoma के. Then mostly dysgerminoma is unilateral, cut surface is solid yellow, white, soft and fleshy, then composed of the large vesicular cell with clear cytoplasm, well defined cell boundaries and centrally placed regular nuclei. All dysgerminomas are malignant, but the degree of the histological atypia is variable, and only about one third are aggressive. So this is dysgerminoma. Then another MCQ favorite asked question. MCQ में ये तो कहीं से भी पूछ भी सकते हैं कि पहले तो ये वाली इसको क्या बोलते हैं, ये आप दिखा सकते हैं. यहाँ पर कुछ तो ऐसे कुछ तो बन रहा है. The structure is called seen in the York-Shaped tumor, that is silver dual body. So York-Shaped tumor, it is also known as endodermal sinus tumor, malignant germ cell tumor that are differentiating along the extraembryonic York cell lineage. Elaborate the alpha fetoprotein. It will secrete the alpha fetoprotein, and the glomerulus-like structure composed of the central blood vessel. Centrally blood vessel will be there within a space that is also lined by tumor cells, and that is called as silver dual bodies. It is peculiarity of the York-Shaped tumor, many times asked in the MCQ. So be aware, York-Shaped tumor, silver dual body will be there. Then choriocarcinoma. Choriocarcinoma, it is more commonly placental origin, exhibit the extra embryonic differentiation, exist in combination with other germ cell tumor also. High level of the chorionic gonadotropin will be there. But the thing what we have to remember is that if choriocarcinoma is placental origin, that the diagnosis and the prognosis is very good in placental origin of the choriocarcinoma. But if it is arising from the ovary, it is generally unresponsive to chemotherapy and often fatal. So we have to look for it whenever we are dealing with the choriocarcinoma of the ovary. It is generally unresponsive to chemotherapy compared to the placental origin of the choriocarcinoma. So we have completed first the surface epithelial stroma, serous, mucinous, endometrial, clear cell, transitional, and then germ cell, teratoma, monodermal teratoma, dysgerminoma, and York-Shaped tumor. Then we will discussing the sex cord stromal tumor. Sex cord stromal tumor. So we are discussing our topic with the cord. So even you are seeing this kind of technology. Have you seen ever this kind of technology? Then the person should go to the NASA, direct call. So even the NASA don't know about this technology, and we are using this cord. And from this cord, we are talking about the sex cord stromal tumor. So the sex cord stromal tumor arise from the name itself, stromal, ovarian stroma, which is derived from the sex cord of the embryonic gonad. Then some of the cells normally secrete the estrogen, granulosa and theca cells, and androgens like Leydig cells. So the corresponding tumors, when we either feminizing, if granulosa and theca cell tumor will be more of the feminizing symptoms will be there, and if Leydig cell tumor will be there, the symptoms are most masculining symptoms will be there. So you are seeing this picture again like York-Shaped tumor, that like in York-Shaped tumor, the silver dual body is imported. In our granulosa cell tumor, the body which is seen in the histology, that is called as Karl-Exner body. It is also important for the diagnosis of the granulosa cell tumor. If you find out this in your histological section, then the diagnosis is through and through, that is granulosa cell tumor. So here you are seeing the gross picture and the histological picture. So clinical importance. What are the clinical importance of the granulosa cell tumor? Because first, they elaborate a large amount of the estrogen. They will secrete a large amount of the estrogen. They may behave like low-grade malignancy. So these two things are important for the granulosa cell tumor. Large amount of estrogen and they may behave like low-grade malignancy. They are mostly two types, juvenile and adult. Juvenile in girls, it will cause precocious sexual development, and in adult, in female, it is associated with proliferative breast disease, endometrial hyperplasia, and endometrial carcinoma. And usually it is unilateral. In ovary, we have discussing one carcinoma that is mostly bilateral, and that is mucinous carcinoma, epithelial origin. Here, granulosa cell tumor, it is usually unilateral, vary from the microscopic foci to large solid cystic encapsulated masses. Cut surface is yellowish. Why it is yellowish? Because due to intracellular lipids, the cut surface is yellowish. And confirmatory diagnosis by small distinctive gland-like structure filled with acidophilic material. Recall is immature follicle, that is called as Karl-Exner body. बहुत बार MCQ में पूछा है Karl-Exner body. It is seen in the granulosa cell tumor. So again, you are seeing the histological picture of the Karl-Exner body's granulosa cell tumor. Granulosa cell tumor, one of the IHC, it is very peculiar to the granulosa cell tumor, and that is inhibin. So you are seeing in immunohistochemistry slide, you are seeing the full positivity. You are seeing the full of the inhibin in the granulosa cell tumor. So all granulosa cell tumor potentially malignant, elevated tissue and serum level of the inhibin, a product of the granulosa cells, are associated with the granulosa cell tumor. Most commonly driver mutation FOXL2 gene. Then fibroma, thecoma and fibrothecoma. In sex cord stromal tumor, we have first discussed germ cell tumor. And second is fibroma, thecoma and fibrothecoma, all in one thing. That composed of either fibroblast. Fibroma composed of the either fibroblast, that is called as fibroma. Then it is composed of the spindle cells with lipid droplets, that is thecoma. Then if it is a mixture of both, then fibrothecoma. Then fibrothecoma is unilateral, usually solid, perifocal, and usually fibromas usually encapsulated hard gray white masses, and if thecoma component will be there, it is yellowish mostly, so due to the lipid droplets. So thecoma, we have one very good specimen in our department that showing the whitish surrounded part surrounded by the yellowish part, and we are seeing the grossly difference of the fibroma part and thecoma part clearly in the gross specimen. So fibromas will be whitish and thecoma will be yellowish in gross specimen. It is associated with the Meek syndrome. Meek syndrome, it is also MCQ favorite question. Meek syndrome is of ovarian tumor that is associated with the fibroma, thecoma, then hydrothorax and ascites. Ascites, hydrothorax and the ovarian tumor, and associated with the basal cell nevus syndrome also. So you are seeing the histological picture of the fibrothecomas, where the spindle cells with lipid droplets. So the adipose part will be whitish in the background, and the spindle cell you are seeing, and the fibroblast will be seen. And here you are seeing the gross specimen of the fibrothecomas. So the next is Sertoli-Leydig cell tumor. It is grossly, if you are seeing the tumor, you will recognize it as germ cell tumor. It is also yellowish germ cell tumor, sorry, granulosa cell tumor. Granulosa cell tumor, gross specimen of the granulosa cell tumor and the Sertoli-Leydig cell tumor will be grossly resemble. they are looking like each other. Most commonly, the Sertoli leading cell tumor produces a muscularization and defeminization, atrophy of the breast, amenorrhea, sterility, loss of hair, virilization, hirsutism with male hair distribution, hypertrophy of the clitoris will be there, voice changes will be there, mutation in the dicer. It is also IMP for the MCQ. Mutation in the dicer1 gene. So, what is the use of the dicer? Dicer1, it is essential for the proper processing of the microRNA. So, in Sertoli leading cell tumor, mutation in the dicer1. Then it is unilateral, resemble, you are seeing the gross picture here. The gross picture will be looking like as a granulosa cell tumor grossly. But if you are seeing the histologic, that's why the histology is always the gold standard diagnosis for all, because we are seeing what is microscopically we are seeing what is seen in the cell. So the grossly, if it is resembled as granulosa cell tumor, nothing to worry. But if here we are seeing in the microscopy testicular Sertoli cells, leading cells of various stage of maturation, well differentiated. So tubules, seminal tubules and composed of Sertoli cells and leading cells with interspersed stroma. If you are seeing the microscopy, here we are seeing the microscopy, so you are seeing as some tubules resembling the testicular tubules, you are seeing like that, and that is of the Sertoli well differentiated Sertoli leading cell tumor. So this is Sertoli leading cell tumor. Then next is metastatic tumor. We in WHO classification, 4 things is there. First is epithelial, surface epithelial tumor. Second one we have discussed is germ cell tumor. Third we have discussed is sex stromal tumor, and the fourth we have discussed is metastatic tumor. So in metastatic tumor, most commonly metastatic tumor from the Mullerian origin, that is from the Mullerian epithelial, uterus, fallopian tube, contralateral ovary, pelvic urothelium will be there. And the extramullerian part, extramullerian tumor will be also there, but in extramullerian tumors, mostly malignancy from the breast and GI, in GI, colon, stomach, biliary tract, pancreas. Then again in this very good MCQ is Krukenberg tumor. If you are seeing this picture, if what we are seeing here, there is a cell. Here there is a cell, and the appearance of the nucleus is pushed away at the margin. What is the appearance is signet like looking, signet ring appearance. So it is seen in the Krukenberg tumor, mostly bilateral metastasis composed of the mucin producing cancer with a signet ring cell appearance, mostly gastric origin will be there. So Krukenberg tumor, it is also favorite topic for the examiner. So here we have complete all the WHO classification of the ovarian neoplasm. First we have discussed the surface epithelial epithelial surface epithelial tumor, in that serous tumor, mucinous tumor, endometrial, clear cell, transitional tumor. Then in germ cell we have discussed the teratoma, mature, solid, cystic, monodermal, then dysgerminoma and yolk sac tumor. Then in sex stromal we have discussed the granulosa cell tumor, fibroma, thecoma, then Sertoli leading tumor. Then in metastatic we have discussed the Krukenberg tumor and other colon, gastric, pancreatic metastasis also. So here we have discussed our ovarian carcinoma from Robinson pathology. So wow, did you just overreact? So if you want to follow my Instagram page and other YouTube channel, so link in the description. There is also one Telegram group is also there. So if you want to join, link is also in the description. So you have to comment if you want to make me video of specific topic. So I will make that topic from the Robbins or any other MBBS textbook. So I will make that video also. So comment here. So this is Dr. Siddhi Dave signing off.